today by Henry Basil Jones, who is the Chief Technology Officer of Emapta. Hi Henry, thank you for taking time to join us today.
Thanks, Bianca. Happy to be here.
So we have a lot of IT people joining Emapta, and that's a field that's growing a lot, right? So a lot of people are interested in what the role Chief Technology Officer is. So maybe if you can share a little bit about that role with us.
Certainly. So yeah, within the technology division, we have over 120 employees, and they are both in IT support, ops support, systems administration and development as well. So to be Chief Technology Officer, or the role of the Chief Technology Officer, is balancing the business objectives and strategy, and then converting it into probably bite-sized pieces that the technology team can work on in order to strengthen either our information security capabilities or our IT support, or even the processes of onboarding and offboarding talent. So the primary role is probably looking at the business objectives, converting that into a strategy that can be consumed by the rest of the team, and then monitoring the continual progress as we improve our services.
Does that mean that you kind of have to have in-depth knowledge of every field you mentioned, IT support, security? Do you have to have like very deep knowledge, or do you rely on like the experts within the different departments?
It's a combination of both. So my background's in networking and systems administration, so I've got a lot of in-depth knowledge there. But also having my information security team around me, they're able to support and provide a lot of information. And then also with the software development, it's understanding the business objectives, what processes we're trying to automate and make more streamlined, and then working with the technical capabilities of the development team to enable those outcomes.
Right.
So I think it is absolutely important to have an in-depth understanding in some areas, but in other areas you're also able to rely on.
Something definitely has to give as well.
Yeah.
You basically know everything, right?
That's
but
right.
you have to have an understanding of them.
Correct.
Growing up, Henry, did you always envision yourself in IT, or did you maybe want to be an astronaut or something?
No, I always envisioned myself in IT. So probably at age 8, I got my first computer, and during high school, I actually spent more time on the computer than I would studying or sleeping. So it was definitely a passion from quite a young age.
Right, and then so from a young age you wanted to be in somewhere in IT.
That's
but
right.
Did you know exactly where you wanted to fit in, or like specific interests? Because IT is such a vast field, right?
Absolutely, it is. And I think initially I wanted to be involved in networking. I think it's quite an interesting topic, and there's a lot of depth there.
Yeah.
But then through the opportunities in my career, I was able to get exposure to all elements.
Right. And if, for instance, you're starting out, and you've always had an interest in IT, you're starting out somewhere, how do you potentially rise up the ladders, especially if you're not familiar with the other elements or aspects of IT?
I think the most important part is communicating your interest to your superior, showing that you want to learn more. When there is an opportunity to do group workshops, or whether there's a project such as a network implementation happening after hours or on the weekend, putting your hand up and saying, how can I get involved in this? And I guess by allowing your manager or your supervisor to be aware of that, then they can work with you to identify, do you want to understand more about security, networking or servers? Okay, maybe you want to get to know all them better, and then help create a career development pathway for you where you can specialize in a specific vertical.
So learning as you go is really cool here, and just really that initiative to learn as you go.
Definitely. I think common in any role, being passionate and doing a lot of research. On the weekend I read white papers about different architecture structures and whatnot. YouTube's a great learning resource, and just getting involved and learning beyond your current role responsibilities, and then that will demonstrate your willingness to put in the extra effort to go up the ranks.
Right, and as you mentioned, I think it's for any industry, especially those that are emerging and always like evolving. Like for instance, in marketing, I'm sure that's true for SEO. Always something new there, so you need to learn every single time. Not because you're already a chief technology officer in Emapta, it doesn't mean there's nothing else that you can learn, right?
That's exactly right. You can look at someone with 10 years experience, and they might have had 1 years of the same job over and over again. Whereas someone can continually be learning, progressing, learning from their mistakes, and then adapting it to become a senior person.
Right. So, speaking of learnings, maybe you can share with us some learnings that you remember to this day along the way in your journey.
Well, from my position, I started my working career in Australia, and then I've moved to the Philippines and have learned a lot about Filipino culture. The different ways of working with Filipinos. It's very important to ensure that everyone's aligned and understands the why of why we're working on a project or doing an initiative. So there is a team commitment to that common goal, and of course always ensuring that there's open communication channels. I personally believe of breaking down the hierarchy, having an open door policy, so to speak, to ensure that if someone has an issue or is unhappy about something, that they feel comfortable to express and share that in a safe space where they feel that they'll be heard and there's a constructive outcome that's going to be that the team will work towards achieving. So I think it's open door, open communication, constant learning, and probably sharing things with your peers where they're the same level so that they can understand what you're going through. They might have their own lessons that they can share from you.
Right.
And as I said, just getting involved, putting your hand up and getting involved.
You also mentioned kind of explaining why for Filipinos. I think I remember one of the clients who also interviewed mentioned that in Australia it might be like they have low context culture where you don't necessarily need to expound the why behind it, but in the Philippines that's the case.
Yes.
Yeah, those are some of the nitty-gritties working with different cultures as well, right?
So,
when it comes to your day-to-day job, are there things that you love, things that you may not love as much, and maybe you can share some of those with us?
Yeah, I think the thing that I really like about my job is I get to create career opportunities. Not only within the technology division directly, but then through the services that Emapta is offering in the Philippines, Sri Lanka, Colombia, Macedonia. That's the most fulfilling thing about the job.
Very, very.
Being able to provide a stable job that allows people to support their family.
Correct, right. Yeah, that's basically our vision and our mission is to provide local opportunities without them to go abroad. Because I mean, you've been in the Philippines. You stayed in the Philippines for a good while as well. Right?
Yeah, I lived here for 5 years up until the pandemic, and then I've returned to Australia, but trying to figure out how I get back in.
Yeah, and we missed you here. Yeah, so for those who are maybe hoping to start a career in Emapta, do you have like any advice or tips for them? Maybe they're starting out in their journey, they're not yet looking at rising up the ranks, but just really starting their journey. We have a lot of IT graduates coming in soon. What would be like the biggest advice that you can share with someone starting off?
I think the biggest advice is to be confident and comfortable in an interview. Because I guess you only have 30 minutes to an hour to demonstrate your capabilities and indicate that you're a potential fit for the role. So it's yes, the interviewer will always be asking the questions, but share some additional information that's within the context of the interview questions. Explain a situation where you've gone above and beyond to provide good customer support. So technical or IT roles, there is a technical component, but there's also the customer service aspects. And a good candidate will demonstrate both the administrative tasks in terms of maintaining their tickets, the customer service skills when interacting with customers, and then the technical skills to be able to resolve it. So I think if you're able to demonstrate competency in those three areas, then that would be a good start for you to get involved into IT.
Right. So show confidence by maybe way of examples, scenarios that's applicable both for like the people skills and the technical skills as well.
Exactly.
Right. So we have been joined by Henry. Thank you again for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Perfect. Thank you, Jacob.